Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy. You're reading with Jimmy. I'm excited to be reading Act 2, Scene 2 of William Shakespeare's Hamlet. This is a long one, ladies and gentlemen. Long one, complicated. Stay with me. Time has passed since the last scene. The last scene, we remember Polonius was going to bring Ophelia because he's now convinced Hamlet is really in love with Ophelia and he's going to go see the king. So this is the room, it's a room in a castle. They're still in Denmark, Elsinore, and all that. So there's a flourish, some trumpets blare. Don't forget, too, this is taking place on stage, and we're watching this, and the audience is very familiar with a lot of the allusions. They've heard the story before, and they're just participating in the play like they're part of the play, right? So there's a flourish, enter the king and queen, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and attendants. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, if you remember, they were basically gentlemen courtiers. King, welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we did long to see you. The need we have is to use you to provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation? So call it, stir not the exterior nor the inward man resembles what it was. So the king is telling Rosencrantz and Guildenstern something's not rotten in Denmark, but something's up with Hamlet. He's changed. Something's changed. What it should be, more than his father's death, that hath put him so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. I entreat you both, that being of so young days brought up with him, and sith no neighborhood to his youth and humor, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court sometime. So by your companies can you draw him unto pleasures, and to gather as much as from the occasion you can glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus that open lies within our remedy. So in other words, reacquaint yourself with him, bring yourself close to him, and find out if what's bothering him we can have a remedy. Something's bothering him, since you know him. Help us figure it out. Vouchsafe means to reveal or disclose, so that you reveal while you disclose your rest in here in our court, while you're hanging around the court like good courtiers do, right? The queen. Good gentlemen, he hath much talked of you. And sure, I am two men that there are not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to just show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us for a while, for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance. She's also reaffirming what the king says. We really want to know about what's going on with our son, with my son. Gentry, people of good social position, specifically in the UK, a class of people next to nobility, to show us so much gentry, if it will please you. Right? Rosencrantz, both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have over us, just put the dread pleasures more into a command than to an entreaty. Rosencrantz says, you're the king and queen, why don't you just command us? Guildenstern, but we both obey. And here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded. Thanks, says the king, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern. Thanks, says the queen, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz, and I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go, some of you, and bring these gentlemen where Hamlet is. Guildenstern. Heavens, make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him. Aye, amen, says the queen. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern leave with some attendants. And here comes Polonius. The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned. Thou still hast been the father of good news. Polonius, have I, my lord? I assure my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not for the trail of policy so sure as it hath used to do, that I think I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy. So they think Hamlet's nuts. And Polonius is telling them, here comes Norway, the ambassadors from Norway. Don't forget there's a scuttlebutt in the beginning about the Fortinbras, right, from Norway. But in this case, he's saying, I think I've got why Hamlet's nuts, right? King, oh, speak that. That do I long to hear. Give first admittance to the ambassadors, and my news shall be the fruit of that great feast. Thyself do grace to them, bring them in. Exit Polonius. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, that he has found the head and the source of all your son's distemper. The queen, I doubt it no other but the main his father's death and our hasty marriage. Well, we shall sift him. The queen thinks it's because her husband died and she married so fast. The king says, well, I don't know. Polonius thinks it's something else. Enter Polonius with Voltimand and Cornelius. Welcome, good friends, says the king, right? Welcome, good friends. Say, Voltimand, what from our brother Norway? Voltimand, most fair, returned of greetings and desires. Upon our first visit, he sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be preparation against the Polak. But, better looked into, he truly found it was against your highness. Whereat grieved that so his sickness, age, and potence was falsely borne in hand, sends out arrests on Fortinbras, which he, in brief, obeys, receives rebuke from Norway, and in fine makes vow before his uncle nevermore to give the assay of arms against your majesty. Whereupon old Norway, the father, overcome with joy, gives him 3,000 crowns in annual fee, and his commission to employ those soldiers, so levied as before against the Polak. With an ecstasy herein further shown, gives him a paper, that it might please you to give quiet pass through your dominions for this enterprise, on such regards for safety and allowance. All therein are set down, as therein are set down. So what the ambassadors want are basically safe passage. There's something going on in Norway between father and son. Okay? Repent means to reflect carefully, to ponder. King, it likes us well. In our more considered time, we'll read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest. At night, we'll feast together. Most welcome home. And they leave. Exit Voltimand and Cornelius. So they give the king something to read from Norway, something about the father and the son in Norway. Polonius, this business is well ended. My liege and madam, to expostulate means to express strong disapproval. What majesty should be, what duty is, why day is, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, such brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes. I will be brief. Sorry. Your noble son is mad. Mad, I call it. For to define true madness, what is it but to be nothing else but mad? I think I got to read that again, or you got to read that again. Polonius, this business is well ended. My liege and madam, to expostulate. He's going to express strong disapproval. What majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, night, and time is time. We're nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limits and outward flourishes. I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad, I call it. To define true madness, what is it but nothing else but mad? But let that go. The Queen. More matter with less art. Quit singing. Just tell me what's going on. Polonius, madam, I swear, I use no art at all. That he is mad, it's true. It's true. It's a pity, and it's a pity it's true. A foolish figure, but farewell it, for I will use no art. I'm not going to, sugarcoat this. Mad, let us grant him then, and now remains that we find out the cause of this effect. Or rather say, the cause of this defect. What defect is that, being mad? For this effect, defective comes by cause, that it remains and remain thus. Prepend, to reflect carefully. Prepend. He's reflecting carefully. I have a daughter, and while she is mine, who, in her duty and obedience, mark, hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. He reads, to the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautiful Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautify is a vile phrase, but you shall hear it. Thus, and he's reading again from something. In her excellent white bosom, these, etc., etc. Queen, came this from Hamlet to her? Polonius, good madam, stay a while. I will be faithful. He reads, doubt thou the stars are fire. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. O dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best, O most best, believe it. Adieu. Thine enormous, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. This, in obedience, hath my daughter shown me. So it looks like Ophelia gave Polonius a note that he just shared with the king and the queen about Hamlet loving Ophelia, right? That's what it seems to show. And more above hath his solicitings, and they fell out by time, by means and place, all given to mine ear. So he doesn't tell the king and queen what Ophelia told him about staring him in the face, Hamlet coming up, grabbing her by the wrist and staring in her face. He reads this note. Where did the note come from? We have no indication of where it came from. We do know that Polonius got it someplace. This is to Ophelia, and he's saying that Ophelia shared it with him. But how hath she received his love? Asks the king. Polonius, what do you think of me? King, well, as a man faithful and honorable. Polonius, I will prove it. I fain prove it. But what might you think when I had seen this hot love on the wing, as I perceived it as hot love? I must tell you that. Before my daughter told me, what might you, or my dear majesty, your queen here, think? If I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking, mute and numb, and looked upon this love with idle delight, with an idle slight, what would you think? No. I went round to work. And my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star. This must not be. And then I precepts gave her, and that she should lock herself in her resort, and admit no messengers and receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice. And he, Hamlet, repelled a short tale to make, fell into sadness, then into a fast, then to a watch, theme into a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into a madness, wherein now he raves. And all we mourn for. Polonius is saying, this is how it happened. I told her not to do, stay away from the guy, and I'm the guy who caused him to go loony. King, do you think this is that? You think that? Queen, it may be very likely. Polonius, hath there been such a time I would fain know that I have positively said it so. When it proved otherwise? King, not that I know. Polonius to his head and shoulder, pointing to his head and shoulder. Take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center. Polonius talks very interestingly, doesn't he? How may we try further? Polonius, well, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in this lobby, in the lobby. Queen, so he does indeed. Polonius, at such a time, I will lose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind the arras. And then mark the encounter, and if he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, then let me be no assistant for a state, but keep a farm and craters. What? Polonius will prove it by standing behind the curtain with you and I talking to the king or queen. We're going to watch this. I'll bring my daughter. He's walking around. Let's see what happens. King, we will try it. But look, where sadly the poor wretch comes reading. The poor wretch. Who's that? Hamlet. Polonius, away, I do beseech you, both away. I'll board him presently. So he's sending the king to go away. Let me take this. Let me handle this. Here comes Hamlet reading. Polonius says, oh, give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet? Hamlet, well, God of mercy. Polonius, do you know me, my lord? Excellent. Well, you're a fishmonger. Polonius, not I, my lord. Well, then I would you were an honest man. Honest, my lord. Aye, sir, to be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000. Well, that's very true, my lord. For if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a god, let's finish that and then come back, kissing carrion. Have you a daughter? So he meets Hamlet, and Hamlet says, Polonius goes, do you know me? Because he starts out by saying, well, God of mercy. And he says, do you know me? Well, of course, you're a fishmonger. What's a fishmonger? A person who stores that sells fish and food. Now, this is the second reference to the carp and, the reference to Polonius, so maybe there's something to Polonius likes fishing analogy, but he didn't use this word. Hamlet did. Nor I, my lord. Then I would be, so you're an honest man. Oh, I'm honest. Then you're one in 10,000. For if the sun bred maggots in a dead dog, being a god, kissing carrion, there's a dash, see the dash? Have you a daughter? He changes the subject. There's a note here on carrion. Carrion is no doubt carrion for kissing or kiss. I don't believe that, so let's not go there. Polonius, I have, my lord. Hamlet, let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive. Friend, look to it. Okay. Polonius says, how say you that by that? How say you by that? Aside, he's still harping on my daughter. Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone, far gone. And truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love, very near this. I'll speak to him again. Then there's the dash, so he's done with the aside to us. What do you read, my lord? Before we go on, I want to go back for a moment and talk about this aside. The aside was used once or twice before. The asides are really a dramatic device where the character speaks to us, the audience. By convention, the audience is to realize that the character's speech is unheard by other people. So it's not heard by the other characters. There's like a pause. And they use this sometimes in movies where they'll talk to you, the audience, they'll look at the camera and talk to you. The other characters don't see it. Same thing with this. I want you to think about this aside and what it tells us about Polonius. So he says, he's still harping on my daughter, yet he knew me not first. Did he know Polonius? Does he know Polonius? That's a question you should ask yourself and go back and study. If Hamlet is either crazy or acting crazy, there's a difference between seeming to be crazy and being crazy. We talked about this when he was talking to his mother about seeming or being very sad. He knew me not first. He said I was a fishmonger. He's gone. And then Polonius says, I felt like him when I was young. Passion, right? Passion when you're young. What do you read? He goes, words, words, words. What is the matter, my lord? Between who? Says Hamlet. I mean, the matter that you read, my lord. Hamlet. Slanders, sir, for these satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, and that their faces are wrinkled, and that their eyes purging thick, amber and plum tree gurn, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hands. All of which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down. For yourself, sir, should be old as I am, if like a crab you could go backward. What is this all about? Polonius says, though this be madness, yet there's method in it. Dash, will you walk out in the air, my lord? I put 3 exclamation points here because though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Polonius is recognizing there's method in his madness. You've heard this before? Ladies and gentlemen, this is where it comes from. There's method in the madness. So what's he describing here? He's describing Polonius. That's what he's describing. And the audience knows this. They could see what Polonius looks like or what he's got makeup to look like. And you can, and the reason that's true, it thus sets down for yourself, should be old as I am, if like a crab, you could go backward. So Hamlet's a young man, Polonius is an old man. And if he walked backward like a crab, crabs walk backwards, right? If he could walk backward like a crab, he would be as young as Hamlet. You walk out in the air, sir? Into my grave, says Hamlet. Indeed, that is out of the air. Aside, how pregnant sometimes his replies are. Pregnant, how powerful they are. His replies are a happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not be so preposterously be delivered. I will leave him and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My lord, I must most humbly take my leave of you. So he knows something's going on here, whether he's mad or not. It looks like he's mad, crazy, but he doesn't know. I must take leave of you. You cannot, sir, says Hamlet, from me or anything that I will more willingly part with all, except my life. Except my life. Aside. Except my life. There's the aside again. Now he's telling us that, right? So Polonius is leaving, except my life. Remember, Hamlet has already contemplated suicide, which makes critics and writers and scholars sometimes think he's really nuts, right? He's really crazy. But he's not. Is he? Or is he? Here comes Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. And note the beginning of aside usages here in this scene. Heavily used. Why do you think asides are being heavily used in this scene? I gave you enough time to think about it. You want me to tell you? Do you really know, Jimmy? Does Jimmy really know? Jimmy thinks he knows. It's to show you that Hamlet's not crazy. He's not. He's talking to the audience. He'll talk to the audience, just like Polonius did. Where truth is hid, indeed, with the center, how may we try it for the king, right? Oh, we did that already. I'm sorry. I went back too far. Here comes Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Fare thee well, my lord, says Polonius. Hamlet. These tedious old fools. Polonius. You can go to seek Lord Hamlet. There he is. Rosencrantz to Polonius. God save you, sir. Exit Polonius. Guildenstern. My honored lord. Rosencrantz. My most dear lord. Hamlet. My excellent good friends. How dost thou, Guildenstern? Rosencrantz. Good lads. How do you eat both? Rosencrantz. As the indifferent children of the earth. Guildenstern. Happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap, we are not the very butt. Hamlet. Now, nor the soles of her shoe. Fortune is like fate, right? They're talking about the personification. We're the cap, we are not the very button. Nor the soles of her shoe. Rosencrantz. Neither, my lord. Hamlet. Then you live about her waist or in the middle of her favors? Guildenstern. Faith, her privates, we. Hamlet. In those secret parts of fortune? Oh, most true. She's a strumpet. What's the news? Strumpet is a female prostitute. So they're making fate, fortune, and they're playing a little word game here, right? Rosencrantz. None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest. Hamlet. Then it's doomsday near. But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular, what have you, my good friends, deserved in the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither? To prison hither. Prison, my lord? Denmark's a prison, says Hamlet. Then is the world one, Rosencrantz says. A goodly one, says Hamlet, in which there are many confines, wars and dungeons. Denmark being one of the worst. Rosencrantz, we think not, my lord. Hamlet, why then, it's none to you, for there's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison. Rosencrantz, well then your ambition makes it one. It's too narrow for your mind. Hamlet, oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space were it not that I have bad dreams. Guildenstern, which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitions is merely the shadow of a dream. I'm going to stop there for a moment. Do you see how they play with words, these courtiers and Hamlet? And don't forget, these are wordsmiths. They're basically excellent speakers. They've been trained in many languages. They know how to fence with words, and that's what they're doing here. They're playing with words in a very deep way sometimes. There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. This is very important. There's my exclamation points again, Jimmy's exclamation points. Okay? Any questions? Keep going. A dream itself is but a shadow. Now, what's he responding to? What Guildenstern said, which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream. A dream itself is but a shadow. See? Rosencrantz, truly, and I hold ambition so airy and light, a quality that it is but a shadow. Hamlet, then are our beggars bodies, and our monarchs and outstretched heroes the beggars' shadows. Shall we go to court? For by the fay, I cannot reason. We'll wait upon you. Hamlet, no such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants, for to speak to you like an honest man. I am most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what makes you at Elsinore? Why are you here? Rosencrantz, to visit you, my lord. No other occasion. Hamlet, beggar that I am even poorer in thanks, but I thank you. And for sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak. Guildenstern, what shall we say, my lord? Hamlet, why, anything, but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there is a kind of confession in your looks, which your modesties have not crafted enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you. Well, to what end, my lord? Says Rosencrantz. Well, that you must teach me, that let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the connoissances of our youth, musical chord fiction, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more dear, a better prosperer could charge you withal, be even and direct with me whether you were sent for. Be direct with me whether you were sent for. Rosencrantz, aside to Guildenstern, what say you? Hamlet, aside, no, ma'am, I have an eye of you. Nay, if you love me, hold not off. Guildenstern, my lord, we were sent for. So you see, they don't know how to do it. Hamlet's confronting them. Why are you here? Why are you here? Hamlet, after he says we were sent for, I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen molt no feather. I have of late, but therefore I know not, lost all my mirth, foregone all customs of exercise, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that goodly frame the earth seems to be a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, the brave overhanging firmament, this majestical roof, fretted with golden fire, why, it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man, and how noble is his reason, how infinite in faculty and form and moving, how expressive and admirable in action, how like an angel in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, nor woman, neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so. There's four exclamation points here. That's a great speech. We'll talk about it. Rosencrantz, my lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts. Well, why are you laughing then when I said, man delights not me? Rosencrantz, well, to think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We courted them on the way, and hither they're coming to offer you service. They passed by the players. There's a players coming, right? Players, actors. He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute of me. The adventurous knight shall use his foil and target. The lover shall not sigh grants. The humorous man shall end his part in peace. The clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled to the seer. And the lady shall say her mind freely, or blank verse shall it be for that. What players are they? He kind of goes through the players and their roles here. What players are they? And let's go to the next page. Rosencrantz. Those that you were wont to take delight in, the tragedians of the city. Hamlet. How chances it that they travel? Their residence, both in reputation and profit, was better both ways. Rosencrantz. I think their inhibition comes by the means of the late inhibition. Hamlet. Do they hold the same estimation that they did when I was in the city, that they are so followed? Rosencrantz, no, indeed they are not. Hamlet, well then how come? Do they grow rusty? Rosencrantz, nay, their endeavor keeps in the wonted place, but theirs is, sir, an airy children, little assays, nestling hawk, that cry out on the top of question, and are most tyrannically clapped for it. These are now in fashion, and so berattled the common stages that they call them, and that they're wearing rapiers, and are afraid of goose quills, and dare scarce come there thither. You can read about the notes, but he's basically saying, they're coming here. These players are coming over. Hamlet, what, are they children? Who maintains them? How are they escorted? Will they pursue the quality no longer that they sing? Will they not say afterwards if they should grow themselves to common players, as it most like, and as if their means are no better? These writers do them wrong to make them exclaim against their own succession. He's talking about acting. Hamlet is very interested in these actors. So, by the way, is probably the third-person narrator. Rosencrantz, faith. There has been so much on both sides, and the nation holds it no sin to tar, right? There's a note on this, 277, to urge action. No sin to urge them action to controversy. There was for a while no money bid for argument, unless the poet and the player went on cuffs in the question. The poet would be the author of the play that they're going to perform. Is it possible? Guildenstern. Oh, there's been much throwing about of brains. Do the boys carry it away? Rosencrantz. Aye, they do, my lord. Hercules and his load too. Hamlet. It is not very strange, for my uncle is a king of Denmark, and those that would make moos at him while my father lived give 20, 40, 50, 100 ducats apiece for his picture in Lille. Splud, there is something in this more than natural, if philosophy could just find it out. Flourish of trumpets, Guildenstern. These are the players. I think we better stop there before we go on and let these players come in, right? Maybe we'll take this in two parts. Let's see what's next. I think we will. We're going to stop there for a moment. You've been reading with Jimmy. This is Jimmy. You've been reading Act 2, Scene 2. We're halfway through it. The players are about to come on. We've got lots of things happening, right? Polonius is there. He's questioning Hamlet. He's going to try to hook up his daughter with Hamlet to prove that that's love that's driving him crazy. Hamlet is playing word games with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who are now charged by the king and queen to figure out what's going on with Hamlet. Thank you for reading. This is Jimmy. You've been reading with Jimmy. Email me, jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com, jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com. Thanks for coming, and look forward to the second part of Scene 2.